Yeah, this one is gonna be on how I came up with the guitar method that I came up with. Um, I like this kind of settings that I have because it's like a tunnel, and this is tunnel 12, and it keeps you in that kind of mood. If you want to know what the tunnel method is, it's like, not method, but tunnel. I was thinking about guitar. Um, about the tunnel videos. This is from the first one you'll see if you want to understand about the tunnel. But this one is about the guitar and how I came up with the guitar method that I came up with. Um, I first of all, I have to say that ever since I was a young kid, I mean, like, oh, it's got to be like 5 or 6 in Buffalo, New York. And this apartment that we had, I guess I could say 317 East Delavan. That's where it was. And it was above a laundromat that we lived in. And in the apartment, they had this old piano. It was like in the dining room or the dining room like area. It was a big apartment upstairs. And with the apartment, they just had this piano there. Back then, it was like no big deal to have things like that, when you were in an apartment, because, everything was like not money. It was like, okay, somebody left their piano, but it wasn't upright. And we always would play it, and I would play it, but not songs. That's another thing. It's the same thing like I did with sound and linguistics and my other tapes. I'll tell you about that. But I always just, played the keys, looking for something, I guess, enjoying the keys. I never was interested in like, you know, like how to do this song or that song. It was just like, what is this? What do I do with it? Anyway, that's my beginning in music. But then in New York, every school I went to, you had to take music lessons, okay? And I wasn't like, so scholarly, like a lot of students were. Everything I just like, recorded in my mind, like kept it in my mind. But anyway, I gotta go on and on to make a long story short. I'm just saying, I had a lot of background in music. I mean, but not in the sense as, like I believed in the theory. I mean, you have to understand theory, and you have to do it to some extent, but you don't have to. I'm not gonna say agree with it. I'm gonna say mold yourself to it. So I never really molded myself to like the theory, and it is theory. And and then after that, times I'm going on and on and on as I go older. I learned how to write songs on my own, just write songs with lyrics. Now I know that a lot of the music, all the music comes from the lyrics. So I wrote a lot of songs and things like that. So as time goes on, now, how am I gonna say? I guess I'm in my early 30s or something like that. And like, if you follow everything in my videos, you see that I was married and then I got a divorce and all this other stuff. But anyway, I found myself in New York City, and of course, I want to do some things in New York City. But basically, the reason why I went to New York City is to actually finish college, to go to college and finish college. So I did go to a community college and went 2 years, and it was very successful. And I continued to do that as far as academically is concerned. But New York, of course, I'm gonna try and do something with my music. I auditioned, I did everything. I did paintings and everything. But the kind of jobs I had at one point in time when I was in New York, I was pretty much like an animal. I mean, not a bad. I mean, just because I say animal doesn't mean I was like bad or abusive or anything like that. No, it was just, I was working with my hands all the time. I was digging ditches, and washing dishes all the time, cleaning and things like that. But the only thing about it is because I had all this musical experience and stuff like that already innate in me, informed, um, I was able to. Oh, I have to say this. This is what brought me this, because this is about guitar. I came up with the guitar method, so I gotta keep it on that. And one time I had this friend, very close friend. We were, I'm not gonna say how close we were, but we were very, very close. Very good person. And and I used to help, like he had a lot of different jobs, you know what I mean? Major jobs and then all these little jobs, and I would help him with the jobs and stuff. And I don't want to get on too much about that, but I wanted to say what happened. So anyway, one time I wanted to get this guitar, and he gave me it. So he gave me the credit card so I can get the guitar. So I got the guitar, and I was able to play it. You know what I mean? But before the guitar, the reason why I got the guitar is because in New York at this certain time, when music was music, I mean musicians were musicians, and sound men were sound men. Okay, and it wasn't like mixed up like today. And now sound men are like, they're the number one. You know what I mean? There's no dividing it. It's all mixed up. But when I was before I got the guitar, it was like I would go to this place. They had this street in New York, 30 something, and you could just go in and just like play the guitar, play the pianos, anything you wanted. And I would play the piano because I told you the good condition I was in. I was pretty much like an animal. I'm not saying in a bad sense, but I was pretty much like an animal. And I could get on the keyboards and just like play anything, classical, whatever. It was just there. You know what I mean? Played it and it was so beautiful. And then I went from the keyboards to this piano, and still it's just so on it. So that's why I wanted to get the guitar. So I got the guitar, and and I could play the guitar. I would do songs and stuff like that. And one time, like I'm telling you, there's a division between the sound man and the musician. Because at a certain point in time, I wanted to sell the guitar, and I was still an animal. I mean, an animal, like, I have to show you how it was. One time I worked with this one guy. It was in a toy store in New York. It was like in Brooklyn. It was like snowing, and only me and him was there. And he wanted to break down his store or something. And it was a toy store, and I was breaking stuff down and throwing things around. He said, for a little guy, you sure are really strong. But it's just like I knew the physics, you know what I mean? It was like the music, and I could like break down big wooden shelves and stuff like that, and no problem, so that kind of animal. So anyway, when I was playing this, so I told you I was to be able to play the piano. So then I said, well, why don't I get a guitar, because that's much easier, because I'm, the position I'm in and stuff like that, So I got it, and I was playing it and everything, no problem. But I didn't get that feel. I mean, I got the feel, but it didn't really come out to where I could really see it until I sold the guitar. I was selling the guitar, and in New York, they were like, if I'm coming in to sell a guitar, they had to like trace it and stuff like that to see if I bought it, because a lot of people steal stuff like that. So while they were doing that, they had this. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They had the sound set up. It was. They could not do it nowadays. Okay. They had the sound set up. Okay. And I put my guitar in it. Okay. And no, this guy, because I was playing in this room at first, but then I came out the room and this guy wanted to see how I could play, so he had his pick. And he started playing, and then he said, okay, well, I want to see what you could do. And I said, I don't use any pick. And I played the guitar with that sound. I mean, like, I wasn't the sound, but the sound man had fixed the sound. Like, it was only a sound person, a true sound person could do this. You know what I mean? And I was able to make water. I was able to do all the spilling, and it was just really a good experience. And that taught me now, in hindsight, which I didn't know then. So I took that experience now. I took that experience that I had, and also there was another time. That's one of the concepts I got from my method that I got now. The other one was I used to clean these apartments in New York, and one time I looked in the mirror and I had gained like, because I can be a compulsive eater. That's why vegan helped me out. And I looked, and I would never look in the mirror, but I looked in the mirror and I swear, I was like 200 pounds. And it was, from my height and everything, it was just, I could not believe it. So I stopped everything and I moved to, I always do this, if I ever gain weight like that, because you can't stop it, you know what I mean? So I moved just up with just a ticket and a few dollars to Louisiana. And I didn't have any money, so I couldn't eat, and I didn't eat. But one time I used to play in the French Quarters when the French Quarters was the French Quarters, and I ended up working in some Louisiana restaurant as a waiter. But I played on the street, and I started playing this guitar just really quick, because I had taken a guitar with me. It's a small guitar, and it was acoustics. It wasn't the one that my friend had gotten for me. And they liked it, and they gave me $5. And the guy goes, "You just picked up this guitar, right?" And started playing it. And I didn't want to say anything. I said, "No, I've been playing for a long time." So I didn't want his friend to think that they were wasting their money. So then that experience too. And then another experience, that's number two experience. The other one was I was always wondered why people would beat up their guitar, I mean, like, and then they set it to fire and they would beat it up, and I always looked at that in amazement. And it was just an amazing thing for me, you know what I mean? I didn't see it as something negative, like just on stage you beat up your guitar or you burn it or something like that. I think Jimi Hendrix used to do that. And I said, what happens if I take that energy and I put it into the playing? Okay? So that's like three other things that came into contact with the method I got. But those are the three kind of things that I can relate to that I made this method that I have. And now I see that you have to do a lot of strokes. I mean, like, I'm going up the level of the guitar, the level that I'm in the method that I'm doing. But it takes like a million strokes to get up to another level. And I'm just telling you, like, where it's coming from. It's not coming from just like fake something or something. You can see, you know what I mean? You're gonna see later on how it's gonna develop. Like right now, I can see, if you understand, like, it's like singing, okay? And a lot of people underestimate singers, but you gotta look at it this way. A singer has to like make a piano, make a piano inside themselves in order to sing. It's so awesome. So they can pretty much handle it. They're pretty much always intimidated and everything, which is kind of sad. So it kind of brings them down. Because even I was, when I was started doing YouTube, I was like, well, they're not going to understand this, they're not going to understand it. They don't understand it because their ears are so, like, formatted. And I got videos about that. That's why sometimes people, I'm sorry, sometimes people who don't know music, they have a perfect hearing because they're open to new things. Their ears are not formatted. I mean, they have to, it has to be good, but they can pretty much accept something as long as it's good because their ears are more flexible. They might not hear. I'm just saying some people, not everybody. Anyway, that's my concept. So now what I'm saying is like it's the same method that you do when you learn how to sing. When you sing, like I'm still under. I want to be able to explain pitches, but like what I'm trying to say is like when you sing, there's notes and everything that you sing, but you have to make those pitches, like the registers that you're talking about. There's a little bit more than three registers. I mean, from what I see, and because they smooth out, you know what I mean, each other, and you have to develop all those things more than what piano can do. You know, like you touch your finger on a piano and it makes a sound, but in order to really make a good sound in voice, you have to do. You're just not touching. You can touch and you can move muscles, but you have to develop those muscles like the piano has all those gears and shifts and balls and all this stuff. So anyway, that's what I want to tell you. This is pretty much about the guitar and how I came up with the method. And it's going to develop and it keeps developing. So like I was telling you, it's like that, the thing I like the most, like I said, that energy that they used to bust their guitar up with, I can kind of, how can I say, almost had the word, I kind of like harness it. So the other one, like the other thing I was telling you about, that's like, you know, artistic. But then there's that animal type thing, rough, like, you know, destroying the guitar. But what I do is I harness that feeling and put it into the guitar. So anyway, I just wanted to explain something about that because the guitar is really, my guitar pieces are really difficult, and I want to keep doing it, and I want to get to the next level. It's going to be another level. It's just so people can understand what's happening. Okay, thank you very much.